4 Keys to Eternal Happiness.
Part 9.
The Root of Greed. Hi. Through this lecture, you will learn the secrets to living a happy life for a lifetime. Additionally, you will get fundamental healing of body and mind, from depression to adult diseases. Queen bees are not born.
I was born with a weak constitution. Can I change my constitution through effort?
Let me tell you about bees. There are 3 types of bees. Male bees do not work, but only mate with the queen bee. After mating, they die immediately without ever seeing their children. Mating is the purpose of their lives. Female bees work all their lives. They don't mate or give birth. Finally, there is the queen bee. All she does in her life is lay eggs. She lays tens of thousands of eggs on her own. Then, what happens if the queen bee dies in the hive? The answer is, the bees do not get confused even if the queen bee disappears. If a newly hatched female larvae is fed royal jelly, she will grow into a queen bee. When female larvae grow up eating honey, they become worker bees. And when female larvae grow up eating royal jelly, they become queen bees. Queen bees are not born, they are made. So let me ask a question. Are queen ants born or are they created?
Since ants are insects like bees, can't they be created postnatally?
In the case of ants, worker ants and queen ants are distinguished when larvae emerge from eggs. They are born. However, they are also created. When a queen ant lays eggs, she sprays pheromones on the eggs. Depending on which pheromone is exposed at that time, they can become worker ants or queen ants. So queen ants are also created. This is exactly the topic I want to talk about with you through this article. People's constitution can be changed depending on how much effort they put in. When people are born, their individuality is distinct, and their abilities are different. I was once fascinated by constitutional medicine, so I know very well that natural individual characteristics are very important. However, this can be reversed during the growth process. Depending on the environment you grow up in and the food you eat, your healthy constitution can be changed to a weak constitution, or an ordinary person can become a superstar like Michael Jordan. This is because person's constitution can also be changed depending on how much effort they put in. Am I sick or not sick?
You said that if a person is healthy, depression will go away, and interpersonal relationships will improve. However, there are many healthy but selfish people in the world.
To explain why, I will tell you about the criteria for judging whether my body is sick or not.
I don't understand why you insist on talking about this when everyone obviously knows whether they are sick or not.
If my body is uncomfortable somewhere, if my back hurts, my shoulders are painful, or my stomach stings, my consciousness recognizes that I am sick. When I know that my body is sick, I realize that I am sick and take action to get better. I go to the hospital to get a shot, go to the pharmacy to buy medicine, and go to a herbal medicine shop or an acupuncture clinic. The pain finally goes away because the expensive cost was worth it. I no longer feel pain in my body. However, this alone is not enough to say, I am not sick. This is because the standard for whether or not I have a disease is not my conscious mind, but my subconscious judgment. There are many cases where the symptoms are mild, and pain is not felt, even though the body is sick. Almost all people fall into this category. Or there are diseases where pain is felt only when the condition is serious, such as cirrhosis or liver cancer. In these types of diseases, If pain is felt, it is already too late to take action. My conscious mind does not feel it, but my subconscious mind recognizes that my body is sick. Then, my subconscious mind helps my conscious mind to recognize the problem. I feel irritable for no reason. Or I feel depressed or anxious. I have difficulty concentrating and cannot study. These are signals that I am not healthy and need to take care of my body. However, at this time most people do things that are the opposite of well-being. They eat delicious food, travel far away, go shopping, fall in relationships, or are addicted to alcohol, cigarettes, and gambling. When they feel irritable and depressed, focusing on their body increases the discomfort. So, they focus their mind outside of their body. This way they forget about the unpleasant feeling for a while. There is a simple way to determine whether or not my body is in pain. Sit comfortably in a quiet room, close my eyes, and think about nothing for 5 minutes. At this time, if I don't have any random thoughts and I don't feel uncomfortable, then I can finally say, I'm not sick. In reality, it's not easy at all. All sorts of random thoughts come to mind, and even my eighth cousins, who have nothing to do with me, come and go in my head. If my body is free of illness, my mind is at peace and free of random thoughts. To this extent, I can say that I am not sick. Therefore, people who have a lot of random thoughts should not practice hypogastric breathing. This is because if people with weak lower bodies practice hypogastric breathing, they may recall symptoms such as headaches, facial flushing, and insomnia. Am I healthy or unhealthy?
The saint said that in order to be happy, we must give up greed. But that doesn't work out the way I want. What's the problem?
Sociologists define the word happiness as follows. Happiness is the ability to find joy within the scope of one's own. Sociologists define the emotion of happiness as an individual's ability, like the physical ability of an athlete. That's right. But unfortunately, in reality, it's not very helpful, because people feel joy when they get something they didn't have. People who like shopping feel happy when they buy something they don't have. People who wear pretty clothes, put on makeup, and are obsessed with plastic surgery feel happy when they transform into something they don't have. People who like dating the opposite sex feel happy when they possess someone they don't have. In this way, people are happy when they get what they didn't have. The Buddha said, "All worries and conflicts come from greed." It can be interpreted in the same sense as what sociologists say. There is no one who does not know the truth that, if you give up greed, you will be happy. However, if the person next door drives a foreign car, I want one too. And if a well-married friend wears a luxury bag, my shopping basket looks shabby. Indians and Thais, despite having less than Koreans, surprisingly have higher happiness indexes. This is proof that material wealth is not an absolute condition for happiness. The conclusion of my writing is always the same. Greed comes from depression, and depression is a disease of the body. That is why when the body is healthy, greed disappears, and the human becomes happy. If you think about it the other way around, it means that if you are not healthy, you will become greedier. Why is that? If you think about it carefully, you will understand why. If you are not in good health, it is difficult to walk. You have to take the bus. If your health gets worse, even taking the bus becomes difficult. You have to take a taxi or have a car. In the past, people made and used all the necessary items such as shoes, clothes, and bowls. Nowadays, people only make things in the bathroom, and everything else is bought. There are some objects that people can't make because they don't know how to do, but there are many cases where they don't do it, even though they can. This is because they lack the physical strength. If you want to measure your health by physical strength, you can easily find out by running. If you can run 2 kilometers, 5 laps around a track, in less than 10 minutes, you can be considered healthy. When you are not in good health, your blood circulation slows down, causing minor pains in every corner of your body. Dopamine and various hormones are secreted less, causing you to become mentally depressed. Then people try to find joy from outside. Ultimately, greed that is not necessary for survival is a sign of poor health. Healthy people can achieve what they want on their own, even if they are greedy. They do not need money or help from others. When people become healthy, all problems will be solved. However, whether it is Chinese medicine, modern medicine, or acupuncture, treatment with the help of others is not a fundamental solution. This is because treatment that relies on medicine and acupuncture only hides the symptoms that are apparent. Since it is not a fundamental treatment, the symptoms of minor discomfort and lethargy continue. As a result, the desire becomes stronger. Although life is saved, the patient becomes more unhappy than before receiving treatment. All illnesses are brought on by oneself. Therefore, people must also cure the illness by themselves. If you don't change your lifestyle to a healthy one, you will live your whole life as a slave to your body. Only when your body becomes healthy can it free your soul. It takes a long time and requires the patient's own efforts, but this is a fundamental treatment. Only by improving your own lifestyle habits can fundamentally cure the disease, and the more continues the treatment, the healthier and happier you become. The secret missing in The Secret.
The topic of the book, The Secret, which became a worldwide bestseller and broke the records of Harry Potter and Avatar, is as follows. Jesus' prayer was granted immediately, but ordinary people's prayers are not granted. The reason is because they lack firm faith. Jesus believed without a doubt that his prayer would be granted. That is why his prayer was answered. Unfortunately, this theory does not apply in reality. The secret in The Secret is now known to everyone in the world. So, shouldn't the wishes of everyone in the world, or at least half of them, be granted?
The 400-year-old Himalayan saint who appears in the book Superhuman Life and looks like he's in his late teens also teaches the same theory as The Secret. In that sense, I think Superhuman Life, which came out 150 years earlier, was a book that was way ahead of its time. After the book The Secret became a bestseller, the world experienced an economic depression, starting with the bad debts in the United States in 2008. Why is it? Is it because we know how to make our wishes come true, but we lack the important faith? Yes, of course, that may be the case. However, I think a little differently. The logic that those who receive answers to their prayers have strong faith, and those who do not receive answers to their prayers have weak faith, has long been a model answer used by religious leaders to convince their followers. Let me share my thoughts for your reference. I think this is the answer to the phenomenon that the prayers of some people, such as Jesus or Buddha, are answered immediately, while the prayers of ordinary people are not answered. Since the strength of each person's yang energy is different, there is a difference in the time it takes for imagination to become reality. Let me explain it to you in the simplest way possible. This universe is like a giant mirror. The energy I send out is amplified by the universe and is reflected back to me. If I am full of complaints about reality, the universe will send more negative energy back to me. Reality becomes even more gloomy. When I feel happy in reality, the universe sends back more positive energy to me. Reality becomes more abundant. That is why the world we live in follows the law of the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. When wood or oil burns, the object appears to disappear, but when all the scattered tiny pieces are collected, the mass is the same as before. However, when uranium undergoes nuclear fission, even if all the pieces are collected, the mass is reduced. The lost mass is converted into a huge amount of energy. This is the principle of the atomic bomb and nuclear power plant. The opposite phenomenon also occurs. When the energy I send out into the universe returns to me, that energy is transformed into matter. The greater the amount of energy the universe sends back, the faster it is transformed into matter. So, is the energy that the universe sends back to each person the same? If you think about it a little, you will see that it is not. The amount of energy that the universe sends back to each person is different for each person. This is because the initial energy that each person sends to the universe is different. The reason why each person sends out energy to the universe is different is because the amount of energy they have is different. The theory of yin and yang is as follows. Yin has a tendency to shrink, while yang has a strong tendency to radiate. A person with a healthy body has a lot of yang energy in their hypogastric, and that yang energy is radiated from their body, amplified by the universe, and returned back to them. In the end, they receive much more than they radiate. A person with a weak body due to a lack of yang energy radiates less yang energy, and naturally, the amount of energy they receive in return is only a small amount. This is the theory of yin and yang, and here we can find the answer.
Are there any reliable historical records that can prove your theory?
Let me give you an example of a historical figure. I will not choose a saint like Jesus or Buddha, but someone with a different personality as a model. Among historically famous figures, there are few heroes as pitiful as Liu Bang, who founded the Han Dynasty of China. Liu Bang unified the world, but he himself was not particularly good at anything and did not work hard. He lived as he wanted, but the people around him risked their lives to put Liu Bang on the throne. If there was one thing Liu Bang was good at, it was that he drank well and had good interpersonal relationships with people. If we analyze the character of the Liu Bang, we can see how the principle of the secret works. It is said that the sky where the Liu Bang is always covered with purple clouds. The character is a bumbling gangster, but it means that he is a person sent from heaven. It is possible that the enormous yang energy was gathered and appeared as a cloud. Also, it is said that Liu Bang liked alcohol and women a lot. So no matter how much he drank, he would feel fine the next day, and he could hold several women in his arms in one night without any problems. Ordinary people would not be able to do this even if they wanted to. Their bodies would become weak, and they would collapse or die after a few days. It was just that Liu Bang's true value was not properly revealed because of Xiang Yu's amazing strength. But Liu Bang was clearly the owner of an incredible amount of yang energy that could not be compared to ordinary people. It was this enormous yang energy that created matter and took the world into his hands. The rule I want to say is always the same. Are you feeling unwell? Is life not going as you wish and is just hard? Are you trying hard but not getting results? Are you trying to reach out to people but they don't recognize you? If you have any problem, no matter what it is, there is only one solution. Concentrate on building up yang energy and recovering health. Yang energy creates material abundance, and health is the foundation of everything. Yang Qi is the secret missing from the secret. Health is like a hole in a rock made by water drop.
I am taking care of my health through food and lifestyle. However, it takes a long time to recover. Is there a treatment method that is faster and has no side effects?
Just as small drops of water fall one by one and accumulate to create a hole in solid rock, the human body also gradually becomes sick. Likewise, it takes a long time to recover. If there is a miracle drug or treatment that cures illness in a short period of time, it is not the answer. This does not make sense. If you think about health with common sense, there is a way. If the medicine you take is so effective, you should consider it as a painkiller. If you have pain and you get acupuncture, the pain will go away in just a few minutes, and after a few days, it will go back to its original state. This is not a cure, but it is just a temporary improvement in blood flow, so you do not feel pain for a while. Cold and infectious disease healthcare tips.
I catch colds easily, and since yesterday I have had pain all over my body and a fever. I can't tell if it's a flu or a cold. Is there a treatment that helps with both the flu and the cold?
When you have a cold or an infectious disease, remember this. Then you don't have to be afraid of the virus. Keep your body warm. Drink less than 2 mugs of water a day. Drink ginger plus jujube plus honey tea to warm your body. Go to bed early before 10 p.m. Take a walk outside when the sunlight is good. Overeating is not good. Grains and vegetables help restore immunity. If you worry about infectious diseases, you need to look back and see how well you have taken care of your own health. If someone is afraid of the virus while eating instant foods, processed foods, snacks, soft drinks, sugar, alcohol, cigarettes, etc., then this is not right. Growth is not about getting more. Growth is about letting go of unnecessary desires for survival. Thank you for attending this lecture. See you in the part 10.